Stem cells are specialized cells that can develop into different types of cells. This means that they can be used to repair damaged muscle or tissue in all parts of the body, including the brain. There are three main types of stem cells: adult somatic stem cells, induced pluripotent stem cells from adults, and pluripotent embryonic stem cells. About 50,000 stem cell transplants are performed yearly, with the number increasing 10 to 20% each year. Over 1 million people worldwide have had an adult stem cell transplant. The first human embryonic stem cell transplant was performed in 2009, and the first human-induced pluripotent stem cell transplant was performed in 2014. These transplants are both relatively new therapies and have not had enough long-term studies to verify their safety and effectiveness. The FDA has authority to regulate stem cell products and procedures in the U.S. Investigators determine the safety and effectiveness of each product or procedure in extensive animal tests and experimental human trials. Currently, the only FDA-approved stem cell-based product in the U.S. consists of blood-forming stem cells derived from cord blood, which requires a mother to donate their umbilical cord from childbirth or abortion. Heavy animal testing also brings up the ethics of animal cruelty for human gain. In an experiment conducted on rats with embryonic cells, 5 out of 25 died from teratoma formation. The fact that there is a 20% mortality rate in rats from tumor formation with a similar stem cell procedure as humans, combined with the known side effects of tumor growth and human stem cell transplants, indicates that there is a high risk that cannot be ignored.
To avoid tumor growths, researchers found that differentiating or genetically modifying the cell type through viruses beforehand can be effective. This doesn't completely negate the risk of tumors and also poses a risk of transmitting viral particles to make viruses that can replicate in other cells and cause physical deformations. While current studies in rats don't show any abnormalities, the difficulty with determining the validity of risk assessments of these preclinical studies is that tumor formations may occur after a long time, whereas many rodent species used to evaluate such risks have a short lifespan of less than 2 years. This suggests that non-human primate studies may be required to assess the long-term risks.
With breakthroughs in stem cell research happening every day, a lot of people are convinced that stem cell treatment is the way of the future. Unfortunately for most of the people seeking treatment, there are a lot of practices that are trying to cash in on the craze. In 2018, 17 people were hospitalized with life-threatening conditions after receiving umbilical cord blood, one of the most prominent unproven treatments. Many of these clinics have sprung up in recent years and promise cures and relief from a variety of ailments, yet use practices that have no proof of being safe or effective. Most patients even pay out of pocket since insurance companies will not cover unapproved treatments. In the past year, the FDA has had regular correspondence with 45 manufacturers in the stem cell market and has 2 ongoing lawsuits with providers. Many of these clinics do not meet the sanitation requirements put in place by the FDA and are forced to temporarily shut down. The contamination of stem cells during procurement, handling, and cultivation is a major concern. If there is any contamination in the solution, it will be directly injected into the body and can cause serious harm or injury. Contamination is not limited to the manufacturing lab of the stem cells, but is also possible at the clinic that performs the injection. While most practices have acceptable sanitation, many of the pop-up clinics do not meet FDA standards and illegally perform these transplants without the proper approval.
There isn't enough known about the long-term effects of stem cells to confidently say that they are safe. More research in controlled environments must be done. More regulations must be placed on companies to ensure that there are no contaminations and that no patients will suffer from misconduct. Until all these things are fulfilled, stem cells should not be used to treat patients.